One of the key changes in the new Regional Committee Handbook is the fact that we have spelt out what an active volunteer means. The fact that this has not been quite clarified in the past could have led to, and in fact came close to leading to, some difficult incidents in an AGM or elections. On page 7 of the Regional Committee Handbook, you will find a glossary, and the first entry is active volunteers. Now, any Kairos volunteer on a team or committee must be a Christian. You must know that that person you have asked to become a volunteer is in good standing with their church and has a displayed faith in Jesus. This is a basic tenet of the organisation, and unfortunately, if we bend this rule, all sorts of problems can arise later. So firstly, make sure your volunteers are Christians. Sometimes there are needs that can only be met by a non-Christian. For example, a local sound man has kindly offered to help with an event. The fact that he has volunteered does not make him an active volunteer in Kairos. An active volunteer is someone who is in good standing with their church and has been active in the ministry within the last 2 years. They've been on a team, they've been part of your continuing ministry in some way, or are already on your committee. When you have identified these people within your region, you will then know who is eligible to vote in your AGM and observe at any regional committee meeting. The Secretary needs to notify all active volunteers of meeting dates and times 14 days prior to the meeting. If you intentionally make this a priority, you will most likely gain some new recruits to your committee. Even though you may sometimes simply reach a consensus about a decision at any ordinary meeting, voting at an AGM and elections and recording that vote, whether passed or failed, is a necessity for accountability. All active volunteers may vote in your AGM and elections. Including all active volunteers in this process is a great way to gain more meaningful participation in your regional committee. Perhaps your secretary needs another database so he or she can easily identify active volunteers, or perhaps you can mark them somehow in your existing database. A few other facts where the Regional Committee Handbook talks about active volunteers are these. Number 1, a quorum for an AGM is 6 active volunteers. Number 2, it is good practice to invite as many of your active volunteers, not just the leadership, as possible to an AKT. Number 3, any active volunteer is eligible to take any of the roles on the regional committee, either elected at an AGM or appointed throughout the year to fill a vacancy. A regional committee needs to identify potential leaders from all active volunteers. I hope that's been helpful. Till next time.